Another good reason to ride a bike tonight.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
So one of my guests this evening says she's just learning to ride a bike, which is, you know what? It is amazing to me how many people don't know how to swim and haven't learned to ride a bike yet. This is going to be interesting. I mean, this is a very compelling conversation about a company that gives back to the community in really kind of record fashion, about a project that raises money, about a big bike ride, and one adult who's learning how to ride a bike. I think that's kind of, you know, it's kind of gutsy. Welcome in. Nice to have you aboard. I'm not sure what day this is. Not because I'm drunk, but because we don't know exactly what night this particular show is scheduled for. And if you see a bandage, I just had a little procedure. I'm supposed to keep my hand up, but this is going to be really annoying. So I'm not. So just in case you're looking and say, what happened to Dan? I'm fine. You know, just a little dermatological situation. No problem. Welcome aboard. Let's get into this. In fact, let me just give you this preview, and I think you get a sense of what we're after tonight.
93 miles in, I thought I was going to have to stop. And the woman who was riding behind me actually came up and put her hand on my back and gave me a push and said, "You've got this, you can do this." The community was definitely a sisterhood, a brotherhood, and you knew that you were in the arms of people that were going to take care of you. Where will 200 miles take you? You can do whatever you put your mind to.
I'm here for other people and not myself.
My wife's a breast cancer survivor, so
I'm riding for her and with her.
I walked out with 200 new family members.
it's about coming together and finishing every mile together.
The Tour de Pink is about something bigger than yourself.
That's what you think about. You draw on the stories of your past and the goals that you set for your future, and you combine them all in the present moment. 200 miles takes me into a good place in my heart. It's the ride that you make it. You have an opportunity to create the experience you want to have.
In one day?
No, Dan, we covered 211 miles over 3 days.
Good.
Thankfully.
Holy cow. I mean, this one's just starting to ride, you know, learn to ride a bike, for
right.
heaven's sake.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit too much. Welcome to Liz Hickok. She's the team captain of this Tour de Pink. And Robin Vincent is a charitable giving manager for a company that I'm just learning about, Ivory Ella. Welcome to both.
Thank you.
You're just learning to ride a bike?
I am just learning how to ride a bike.
What up with that?
I can do anything. So.
How come you never learned to ride a bike?
Because when I was a little girl, I always rode a pony. So I spent
excuse me.
much
You were
of
the
my-
girl with the pony in the neighborhood.
I always
Oh,
rode the
that
pony.
hard than us.
I tell you, it was a lot easier than riding a bike. So,
Really?
Yeah, I'm finding it very challenging, but I can do it.
You know, when we all learned to ride a bike, the first time, we fell down a lot.
Yes.
You've fallen down a lot?
Yes, I went for a ride last weekend and crashed immediately into some fence, and yes, I do crash. But it's okay, I get back up and continue to try.
Kind of like me on skates. You want to see something funny? Put me on skates, roller and/or ice. Tour de Pink. By the way, all the information we have tonight, the company and its fundraising, the Tour de Pink, and all of that, and how you can contribute, will all be on our website at foxprovidence.com. So make a note of that. So tell me the story. You're the team captain of this event, and you've got the early October series where you have East, West, and South, correct?
Exactly.
Correct? Who started Tour de Pink?
Tour de Pink was started in 2004 by 3 young women who were diagnosed with breast cancer at a very early age, and they were dismayed at the lack of resources available to them. Young women that are diagnosed with breast cancer have very different needs than their older counterparts. They set up this grassroots vision. The first Tour de Pink had 6 riders. One woman was a breast cancer survivor, and they raised $28,000. This is now 10 years later. There'll be 200 riders in the East Coast ride, of which a third of these women have or are receiving treatment for breast cancer currently. The ride this year, we hope to raise about $1 million. Last year, raised about $850,000. Robin and Team Ivory Ella were formed out of a friendship that began many years ago. Robin's always been a supporter of all of my charitable endeavors, and when I got involved with the Young Survival Coalition, I reached out to Robin knowing that she had allied herself with this wonderful organization called Ivory Ella. Ivory Ella is a soft goods and online retailer out of Westerly, Rhode Island that gives back 10% of all of their profits to good causes. And understanding that Robin had this partnership, I thought that I would be remiss not reaching out and asking for help. And thankfully for us at Young Survival Coalition, Robin introduced us to the wonderful founders, Matt Fiano and John Allen, and we struck up a partnership. We're very thankful for that, and I'm thankful for my co-captain, who is Mr. John Vinson. Robin's riding this year with her amazing family, her daughter and her son, and together, what started as one person from Rhode Island is now 18 people. And so far this year, we've raised about $32,000. We're about $11,000 away from our goal. And we're looking forward to all heading out in about 2.5 weeks. Robin on her new bike.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're going 200 miles?
Yes,
All
I
right,
am.
We'll talk more about your company in the next segment and all of this. So you've got at least 1/3 of the participants are current patients. Neither of you two have been dealing with breast cancer,
Fortunately,
correct?
no.
No,
Okay,
I'm so blessed to.
on the right side of that lucky equation, right? That's pretty courageous on their part.
It's really an amazing story, and it's a very empowering event. It's very emotional. I like to remind people it's not a race, it's a ride, and it really is to celebrate ones that we've lost and honor those that are still struggling. I feel very fortunate to have gotten involved in this organization. I stopped in a few years ago for a friend who was a young survivor herself, a young mom with 2 children, who was diagnosed with breast cancer twice. And every year she would participate in this ride, and I would write a check to her. And then the first year I did it, I said, hey, you haven't come by to me looking for a donation. I'm sitting here with my checkbook ready. And she said, I can't do the ride this year. I've had some consequences and I'm not able to participate. And I thought, oh gosh, when is this ride? And she said, well, it's in 30 days. And I said, well, give me the bike. I'll do the ride. So I set out that first year, much to the same way Robin found out, not really knowing how to ride a bike. I fell over at the first stop sign I came to in front of about 22 tourists.
Hold on a second. Another one that didn't learn to ride a bike until you're
Very
an adult?
humbling experience. Very humbling experience.
I don't think I've ever met 2 adults who didn't know how to ride a bike. How did that happen?
I didn't know how to shift gears. I found
How
the
was your
first
pony? Did you
ponies are easier to fall off of.
Did you also have a pony as a kid?
I may have.
That's amazing.
That's how we know each other.
Anyway.
So I found the first group of guys that passed me wearing brightly colored, stretchy clothing, and I said, help me figure this whole thing out. So 30 days later, I'd raised $6,000, and I showed up to this event not knowing one person. And I was honestly just so moved by the experience, unbelievably so. One particular experience that sticks out in my mind is, riding by myself. I hadn't really known anyone yet. I came across a group of young ladies who were all riding together. And one woman was in the center of this pack, and she had a backpack on with flip-flops. And I'm thinking, looking at my really painful bike shoes, I ride past her and I said, hey, you got the right idea, thinking, we're going 100 miles here. I don't know where you're wearing flip-flops. And as I passed her, she kind of called back to me and she said, I'm not going very far. And I took a look over my shoulder and I realized that, she was a survivor and she was in treatment. And the girls around her were just making a barrier against the wind so she could get up that hill. And it was a pretty amazing experience. And I was very fortunate enough to meet that young girl on the bus back to the start. She sat next to me. And I was just at this point so charged up and so excited about this experience. And I said, we're going to do this next year. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. You're going to do it right. We're all going to do it. It's going to be terrific. And her boyfriend is sitting with her, and he's done the ride too. And he says, yeah, I'm going to do it. And she tells me that just 3 weeks earlier, she was in hospice. And I thought, God, this is a miracle. 3 weeks ago, you were in hospice, and here you are participating in this ride. And what I didn't know is that, she knew she was terminal. And her name was Kara. She was 34 years old, and we lost her about 3 weeks later. And at that moment, I learned that if I have the physical ability to change the quality and quantity of someone else's life, That's a moral responsibility, and I'm going to do that. So for every year that I am physically able to participate in this ride, I will.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yep, it is a lot. Yeah. So Ivory Ella is our wonderful company, and one of our core values is making a difference and giving back. And the company was founded by 5 young entrepreneurs, 22 years old, and right out of the gate they knew they wanted to give back. It was very important to them. We have worked with Save the Elephants. They're our major organization we work with, and other charities, and we like to give nationally and throughout the world. So when Liz came to us and said, you know, I have this great bike charity ride we want to do, it means a lot to us because our owners are all in their 20s. We have a really young demographic between the age of 12 and 24, and we want to share awareness and education. So if we can share this through our social media, we have about 250 million followers on our social. If we can spread awareness for this.
You have 250 million social media followers. We got some work to do on this show. All right, hold your thought.
I hope that's the right number.
I
may be wrong.
I want to learn. Hold on. I want to learn more about the company when we come back. 250 million. Wow. Stay with us. Website for the company Ivory Ella, which has made contributions to just dozens and dozens and dozens of companies here. We checked that social media thing. It's probably 2.5 million followers. You know, who cares? 248 million off, that's no big deal. No, listen, 2.5 million followers on social media is impressive enough, believe me, which means we still have some work to do on this program. Robin is the charitable giving manager for this fantastic company, Ivory Ella, and Liz is the captain of Tour de Pink. And the story of getting into the whole thing is, it's amazing what happenstance and networking and what meeting people and how people change the course and direction of lives and interest and mission and passion and all that kind of stuff. So obviously you're full of that. You've got some more stories I want to hear from. Again, all the information about how you can help both Ivory Ella in its efforts and the Tour de Pink is on the website of foxprovidence.com. And these rides, 200+ miles for you coming up, starting from where to where? Your point A to point B?
We're leaving from a suburb of Philadelphia and entering in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Huh. Okay. Let's. Well, is it Jersey? That's not Jersey. It's South Jersey. Anybody from Jersey knows that South Jersey is really part of Philly. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But this Ivory Ella story is fascinating. So you've got a handful of millennials, huh?
That's right.
That was our program last week. A bunch of millennials in here trying to convince me that they do productive things. Well, there you go. There's the proof.
They do. Yeah. Our culture is really great. We have these great young entrepreneurs, and you know they've really focused on giving back. And you know our slogan is "Good clothes for a good cause." We think of that every day. We've been able to help a lot of people. Through that, though, we've learned so much about other people, and we feel more inspired because of the things we've been able to do.
Okay, pop up some of the list of the companies, or the causes, rather, that the company this helps. So having a mission statement of 10% of profit, you got to have profit in order to be able to give the 10%, right?
That's right.
So business is good?
Business is good, yes.
Yeah.
We've partnered with American Heart Association, Homes for Our Troops, Breast Cancer Research Foundation. We just did a great collaboration with Boston Children's Hospital to share awareness with childhood cancer, Toys for Tots, Intrepid Fallen Heroes. Veterans, education, and health are very important to the founders and also our employees.
You know, you don't have an easy job. Charitable giving manager for a company that's all about giving. That word gets out. Obviously, it has. Another PR push here, and then there's a longer list of people that are looking for help, because that is an infinite, fertile marketplace out there of folks who are looking for charity money, right?
Yeah.
So what's, do you say no?
We do tell people no. We do try to help a lot of charities. Save the Elephants is our #1. We're an elephant brand. We've gone to Kenya twice to work
Not
with
big
Save
on the circus,
Elephants.
I'm guessing.
No.
No.
No. So we've been able to, work with Save the Elephants. We've worked with a school in Kenya, empowering women in Kenya, working with the scientists and the researchers. It's about elephant conservation, bringing that home and being able to educate people here about conservation and education.
How'd you guys roll into the elephants? Ivory, da-da-da.
Ella, Ivory Ella, yeah.
So the interest in the elephants was first for these owners, I guess?
The founders had other companies, and they were really socially aware of what was going on. And anything that they had in their other companies with an elephant really sold and stood out. So they did tons of research, and they decided that because of the ivory poaching and things that were going on with the rate that elephants were disappearing, that they really wanted to help contribute to elephant conservation.
It's a big problem in the world, correct?
It's a huge problem. And I just being back from Samburu, with no elephants, then we have Grevy's zebras. There's only 2,000 of them left because they need the elephants to make the water holes. I mean, it is that cycle of, environmental, our habitat is just their habitat is being wrecked. So there's so much more to it besides the conservation.
Not much awareness on this side of the pond for it, though, because we don't grow elephants.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's why we've partnered with Roger Williams Zoo, because they have 3 African elephants at the zoo.
And you made a contribution, correct?
Yes, we have. And so we're going to partner with them to help educate people here in the States, in Rhode Island based, to learn about elephant conservation and how important it is that we all are able to, save our planet, so to say. So it's been a nice partnership with them because they have 3 girls.
Why are elephants instrumental to the success of the planet?
Well, we want to, if there are no elephants, like I said, with elephant conservation, if we don't start to, do things here for global warming and helping to make our planet a healthy place to live on, we're going to lose not just elephants, but lots of
everyone
animals.
in the chain, right? Everybody in the chain, yeah. It's a lot of stuff going on in this world that we don't pay a lot of attention to, and there's a lot of doubt over the global warming concept.
Yeah.
You'd be guest #2 in a week that's trying to make that point.
The first year we went to Kenya, we had a team of 8 employees go. And the second year I led another team, and we had 6 employees go. And one of the employees is one of our VP of design. And I asked everyone when they came back, what changed you? What made a difference to you? And she said, I didn't believe in global warming till I went to Kenya.
So. All right, when we come back, a little bit more background and hopefully some motivation for you to be aware of what the Tour de Pink is all about. Stay with us. Some scenes from the Tour de Pink. So you're in good shape. You're
theoretically.
I mean, you look like you're in good shape, but I mean, are you in bike shape? Are you in 200-mile shape?
I certainly hope so.
She is.
She
just did an Ironman.
You're not.
I am not.
Not that you're not in good shape. I'm just saying you're not. You got to ride a bike. Oh
right.
My goodness. So you got your own team with the company that is in this bag.
Yes.
And you plan on doing the 200 miles,
That's
correct?
Okay.
Okay.
Really hard. Yes. I do have.
How many times do you think you're gonna fall down and go boom during that whole situation?
Probably.
Half a dozen?
Probably a dozen.
A dozen?
Yeah.
That's not so bad. You got knee pads?
No, but it's
Something?
fine. My philosophy on that is, if my only fear is figuring out how to ride a bike, what about the women who are fighting cancer trying to figure out how to survive for their life? So I have very little to worry about compared to what some of the people I'll be riding with.
All right, so this whole show is nothing but mind setting. You guys are just, I was trying to have a miserable day, but I can't when you two are around.
Day.
Well, my hand hurts. You know what? Doggone it. Maybe I'll get on the bike. I mean,
that's right.
It's not easy, but you've got other stories, and we've got a picture here that you say is a compelling conversation as well with a mom and a daughter, correct? Tell us about those people.
Yep. This is Martha Tuff and Diana Blakely. Maybe about 2 years ago, I was training in Jamestown one day and just doing a couple of laps of the island, and it gets pretty boring at times. And I passed a girl, or she passed me with a really nice bike and a blonde ponytail, and I was raced to catch up with her and say hi and introduce myself. And I said, "What mile are you on?" And she was just starting out, and I said, "I'm just wrapping up 50.
What?
And she said, "What are you training for?" I said, "Well, I do this event every year. It's called the Tour de Pink, for an organization that helps young breast cancer survivors." And I said, "It's a pretty amazing organization." And I told her a little bit about it, and she said, "Wow." She said, "You know, my mom is a survivor." And she said, "You know, I am too." "What's the name of it again?" And I gave her the information, and this conversation is happening while we're both riding a bike. And I said, "It's really great. I really hope you look into it." And she said, "I will." And I got her name. We introduced ourselves on a first name basis, and I left there and I never saw her again. And I reached out to a couple of people. I said, "Does anyone know this girl Martha? She's blonde hair. She lives in Jamestown. She has a black bike. If you see her, tell her I said hi. I hope we see her again." Well, fast forward a year later, Saturday of the Tour de Pink, a young woman walked up to me and said, "Do you mind taking a picture of me and my mom?" And we all wear tags with where we're from. And hers said Massachusetts. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm from Rhode Island. We must know each other, right?" And she said, "Well, actually, I'm from Jamestown." I said, "Oh, I'm from Newport." And she said, "My name is Martha." And I said, "Oh, you're the girl I met riding a bike a year and a half ago." And she left our conversation, actually did look up all the information I gave her, and showed up with her mom to ride. Her mom is probably 70 or so, both in beautiful shape. Her mom had suffered a crash about 2 weeks before the ride. But these women showed up at this ride not knowing one soul and participate in it. And I'm very happy to say that now they're part of our team. With Team Ivory Ella. Mom's going to ride with us this year.
So you showed up originally not knowing one soul.
Exactly.
Of the connection with a young lady that you were trying to help. You bump into her. A year later, neither of you remember, but the data comes in, and they went in not knowing anybody. So this is a pretty good networking opportunity, number one. Number two, there's a little bit of weird serendipity in this whole thing, don't you think?
I think it's amazing. I'm really excited. I have it figured out that per capita, Rhode Island is the biggest representation at this national event. Wow. Because we're the smallest state with the largest percentage of riders. And we have a huge contribution. As we've already raised $32,000, I have no doubt we're going to hit our goal of $42,500. We were so thankful to have this partnership with Ivory Ella. We have, I think, 3 married couples, 1 family. We've got 1 mother-daughter team. Everything has really grown organically, and super excited for this year and excited for next year and the year after that.
So I'm guessing the reviewers who are watching this will think, you know what, I may want to join the team. You want folks to join the team.
We want people to join the team that are passionate about the cause. This isn't a race. I'm not looking for people that think it's a Tour de France. I want people that are passionate about giving back and you know, helping maybe those less fortunate. Sometimes you come across a rider who might need a push. And those are the riders that I want.
All right. You might need one push.
I may need a push.
Okay.
And we as a company also, we challenge people to make a difference. We want everyone every day to live like an elephant, and they're compassionate, they're loyal, they're kind, things like that. So.
Well, congratulations on your company. Good
Thank
luck
you.
in the race.
Thanks.
Stay up. And you, great story. Way to go. All the information is on foxprovidence.com. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Again, all that information about Ivory Ella and the Tour de Pink at foxprovidence.com. See you tomorrow night, and don't forget, 3 to 6 weekdays on WPRO. Good night.